Hello. Like I always say, a lot is happening in Nigeria right now. Every day, new drama. Nigeria has become a movie, a season movie. Every day, new episodes. Every day, new episodes. Now, I still want to talk about the emergency rule, that's on the front burner in Nigeria. The emergency rule, declared by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on River State. And within the last 48 hours, we've had series of analysis from different we've gotten different legal perspective from lawyers, from senior advocates, from political analysts, from public affairs analysts. We've had different analysis about the situation in rivers. Now, I'm giving a new dimension to the issue today. Yes, the emergency rule has taken effect. The administrator is there, and they've been called to say that appointing an administrator is not even recognized by the constitution. Removing the sitting governor is not recognized by the constitution. But what I want to talk about today is not just about the legality or illegality of the entire process. I just want to talk about what led to the process entirely and its likely implication for Nigeria as a whole. This is not the first time Nigeria will be experiencing state of emergency. Presidents Obasanjo had twice, imposed state of emergency in Plateau and in Ekiti State, and Goodluck Jonathan imposed partial state of emergency in some local governments. Now, the difference between the two is the fact that during Jonathan, no governor was removed from office because I think he was properly advised to the effect that that would mean a contradiction or a breach of the grand norm, which is the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended. But given what we are seeing today, some have argued that the president was too hasty in declaring state of emergency, considering that the Supreme Court just ruled about on the issue, and there's a need to allow the governor to, meet adhere to those judgments. But what I'm talking about today is what will be the implication of this on the people of River State. It means governance and representation will stop automatically for the next 6 months, since you have administrator that will rule the state for that 6 months, taking unilateral decision with the Federal Executive Council and the National Assembly. But while the president may have thought that, or his handlers may have thought that the imposition of the emergency rule was the last resort. But I'm here to talk about, there's so many things going on in Nigeria right now that requires emergency declaration. We don't want to talk about how we got to where we are today, how bad leadership and indecision by the government has led Nigeria to where it is today. But what I want to talk about is, I think there's a need for us to declare an emergency on the killings by the Fulani Herdsmen in Benue, in Adamawa, in Ondo, in Edo, in the southeast. There's a need for a state of emergency, because the killing has become one too many by the Fulani Herdsmen. In Taraba, there's this, and they tag these killings clashes between farmers and herders. It's not a clash. A clash is when two entities or two groups clash, there will be casualties on both sides. But when the casualty is on one side, it's not a clash. This is a premeditated killing going on in different parts of Nigeria by the herdsmen. And if we saw even a case in Adamawa where a herdsman attacked someone, and in trying to defend himself, he killed the herdsman, and the Supreme Court ruled that this person committed murder, that he should have just run away. That is the killings that have been going on in Nigeria by the Fulanis. I think the government need to declare state of emergency on banditry, state of emergency on hunger. There's so much hunger in the land. This government needs to declare state of emergency on hunger. Government needs to declare state of emergency on brain drain, what we now refer to as the Japa syndrome. Youths, professionals are leaving Nigeria in droves. Doctors are leaving. Nurses are leaving. IT, they are leaving. Professionals are leaving. I think the government need to declare a state of emergency and find out what needs to be put in place to curtail this brain drain. The government need to declare state of emergency on education, especially at the tertiary level, so that ASU will stop going on strike. Go to universities today. If you look at the Times ranking of universities in the world, not a single Nigerian public university is listed among the best 1,000 universities in the world. That's because these universities lack funding. I think the government needs to declare state of emergency on education. The government needs to declare state of emergency on healthcare. So doctors can no longer be using torchlights to conduct surgery, operations in wards, so that only the rich ones can get good healthcare through high-profile private hospital or traveling abroad. The government need to declare state of emergency in healthcare. Government need to declare state of emergency in corruption, fight against corruption, so that we don't have people like Yaya Bello, Akpabio, people who have questionable character holding public office after they have corruption charges hanging over their head. We need to, those are the state of emergency we need to fight. And then the other thing I want to talk about is the nature of our democracy. If you look at what is happening in Lagos, what is happening in different parts of Nigeria, the trying to recall Senator Natasha, under the guise of empowering people, telling them to come with their. We've not heard the DSS arresting anybody. We've not heard anything happening. Now, this brings to focus the kind of democracy we practice in Nigeria. Look, at the local government level, it's a sham. At the state level, it's a sham. At the federal level, democracy is a sham. And, the people are just helpless. It appears the people are just helpless. And where do we go from here? How do we get Nigeria blessed with so much resources, to become a bride, to become that country that it used to be when after independence and all of that. A country where ethnicity and religion would not dictate how the democracy thrives. And like what Professor Clark Eke will say, that what we have in Nigeria is not democracy. It's just contextual democracy, where periodic elections, we have political party. Even the political parties right now, they are just in disarray. Opposition in Nigeria is almost gone. So what we have, according to Clark Eke, is just contextual democracy, where we have periodic elections, political parties. Yes, we have civilian administration, but in the content and the real sense of democracy, we don't have. There's no freedom of speech. There's no freedom of association. The right to express yourself is no longer there. When you express yourself, just like the NYC girl did, you get calls, you get threats. Bandits will do videos, nobody will arrest them, but citizens will go on social media or record themselves, expressing their grievances against the state, and they get arrested, and then they tagged, they're charged for treason, they're tagged for cyberbullying, and all of that. A democracy where rules are bent only for the elites. For example, the Inspector General of Police, bending the rules to have him stay there until the end. So many things. And especially how this administration even came on board. INEC collecting billions of naira every year and conducting sham elections. The Nigerian democracy is nothing to write home about. Now, People have asked, how did we get here? And how do we get out of all of these problems confronting Nigeria? Now, people have said, oh, one of the best ways, since we're in a democracy, one of the best way is to vote out people, you know, we do not want. But you ask yourself, is somebody like Hope Uzodinma coming forth in election and then mysteriously becoming the governor by Supreme Court pronouncement? People have lost faith in the democracy. People saw what happened in 2023, how this present administration came on board. The youth, for the first time, came out en masse under the obedient movement, that they were going to vote, they were going to allow their vote count, that for the first time, Nigeria will elect someone who is dear to the hearts of, dear to their hearts, the votes will count. But now, even in Ekiti elections, Shun elections, in Kogi, in Bayelsa, in Imo, in Edo, in different parts, we've seen that elections in Nigeria has lost its credibility. So people have people have now lost hope in election as a tool in bringing the right leaders, election as a tool in leadership recruitment in Nigeria. Because how did even the president get, with all the baggages, in Chicago's certificates scandal and everything, how did he get into office? Through very controversial manner. We all know what happened in 2023, except we're just shying away from the truth. All that, we saw what happened. So even in the next elections, we might not even get the same kind of turnout we got in 2023. And then if you look at what is happening in Lagos, how one person would single-handedly say that you will be the next governor, and the people, the opinion of people do not even count. So how would you even call that democracy? Because in democracy, the most important element or the most important component in a democratic system is the people. Just like what you have in Rivers today. One man, Nelson Wike, wants his will done from the very beginning. He wants to become a proxy governor to share the resources of Rivers State. Now, because they did not arrive at a good sharing formula, or did not arrive on how to go about, that's the genesis of the crisis. So what we are seeing, the court injunctions, all these are just immediate cause of the remote cause of the problem is the disagreement between Wike and Fubara. So in the political equation in Nigerian democracy, the people are not even, they are tertiary. The people are not even considered. The elite just consider themselves. Is this the kind of democracy that we want to practice in Nigeria? So how do the people ensure that the right thing? Because Nigeria is gradually disintegrating. Nigeria is gradually losing it. Things are going wrong every day, except we all wake up and do something about it. But like the story about the rat and the cats terrorizing the rats, and so we need to find something to do. So when the cat is coming, we know that the cat is coming. And then one of the rats suggested, let us bail the cat. It sounds like a good idea, but who will bail the cat? The same thing, the likes of Sowore and the rest have called for revolution. But how many Nigerians are ready? How many Nigerians are ready? Because the only way for Nigeria to liberate itself from some of these issues that's taken Nigeria the downward spine, within the last few days, is for the people to wake up and take back their country. It might be through the Arab Spring. We just have to wake up. We just have to wake up. But how many of us want to wake up? They've used the tool of ethnicity and religion to divide the people so much that most of the people today, I'm sure people that will criticize this podcast, people that will criticize this video, are mostly people from the Southwest, because they have their son in power. The same thing happened during Buhari, the Northerners. We criticize, insult anybody that criticizes Buhari, all calling for good governance. And the cycle continues until one day we will wake up, there is no more Nigeria. Because all of this started the times of our father. We are here today. What will happen to our children? We just have to wake up. Some countries have, the youths have, gotten up and they've said enough is enough. Enough is enough. All this class of people we have, they have to go for Nigerians to get it right, so that we can declare state of emergency. We, the citizens, can declare state of emergency on corruption, bad leadership, and get them out. Election is no longer a basic tool in achieving that, because if you continue to have people like Mahmoud Yakubu manning INEC, we will not have credible elections in Nigeria. I can assure you that. There won't be credible elections in Nigeria. Nigerians need to wake up. Nigerians need to wake up. And let's take back our future. My name is Joel. Please keep tabs with me. We'll always try to inform the people about the political happenings in Nigeria every day, every week, every month, and every year. Thank you.